Good morning everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today, as promised, I am going to do a look with the Mothership II palette, and I've got my green on all in readiness because I cannot wait to use it. So I'm going to go in first of all with my base and then I'll come back. I'll just whiz through that. So I'm going to use a combination that I actually really love, which is Flawless Filter first of all as a base. I may have the wrong shade in this one. I need 5. No, that's it. So I use 5. And then over the top of it, I use Huda Beauty Faux Filter Foundation. And that's the primer. But never mind. I will promise to use the right things. And I will be right back. And I'm going to blend it in with this Huda brush, which is called the Face Blend and Buff, which does actually blend very full coverage foundation in seamlessly. It's a really lovely brush. There, looks a bit dirty, so I'll give that a clean before I use it. Okay, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, that's the foundation and the Flawless Filter. Now this is a really good example of what I'm saying about when you are an NC something, if you're not very olive, just partly olive, your foundation takes on a bit of a yellow hue. So as you can see, if you look at this, it'd be better if I blended it into my nose. If I turn and you see my neck, you will see that although it's the right sort of depth, you can see that I've got far more pink in my complexion, and this is looking yellow. So what I'm going to do, I will put my Huda concealer on, and then I'm going to show you putting the NW powder foundation from MAC on and how that balances it out. Okay, the other thing to say as I'm putting on my concealer is that the concealer is cookie dough. So this is the Overachiever concealer and it is 14N, which is neutral. So this, as I've said before, it's not a good idea if you've got yellow undertones to then get a yellow undertone concealer. It's better to get one that's a brighter one and vice versa, because otherwise your face can just kind of look too uniform. But if I just pat some of this in, you'll see, hopefully, it's going to probably look a bit stark, but you will see what I mean by the concealer not looking as yellow as the foundation. Can you see how that doesn't look as yellow and it's starting to look closer to that? Okay, so this is just to give you a little bit of an idea about undertones and choosing foundations and mixing foundations. This is also mixed in, obviously, with Charlotte's Flawless Filter, which also was a bit yellowy. So I'm just dabbing some of this around. I'm doing it with my fingers today. Nothing wrong with that. Put some around where I've got my thread veins on my nose. And here. If I think of something that is good to say, I will actually stop and actually run the video. It's just, if I'm just doing a base and nothing else, then there's no point really. Right, okay, so now I'm going to show you by getting the NW powder foundation, which is the opposite to this warm yellow undertoned foundation. Okay, now if you wanted the longest lasting foundation known to man, put a high coverage foundation like this on and then get a powder foundation and press it into the skin with one of these. However, I'm not going to do that for 2 reasons. One is that this NW30, even though it's one, I take NC35, so it's one shade down, but in the W, it's still a bit on the dark side when you press it in, and it's fine if I brush it on. I could probably do with getting an NW25, certainly for the winter, but I'm going to put it on with this very fluffy Real Techniques powder brush. And I'm going to show you. So as you can see, there you see the pink, there you see the yellow. And so I'm going to apply this to this side of my face and leave this side at the moment so that you can see what it does. So NW, excuse all the noise in the background, they're doing building work, not on my flat. But what you can see is it's now adding a pink undertone, which is more realistic to my skin tone. And the temptation, what people do when they're getting a powder or they get putting powder foundation over a liquid is to get the same shade. And I used to do it as well. And it can just, unless you're really yellowy undertone, it's just going to make you look too unlike yourself. So then I'm going to blend some of that down into the neck. And hopefully now, what you should see is something that actually looks closer to, maybe still a little bit on the yellow side. But once I've put some blush and some contour, you're not going to notice that. It's going to look closer. Now, can you see? I need to put some under my eyes. Probably could do with the setting brush for that, but never mind. I'll put some over here. Can you see the difference now between that and how this is closer to me? I've got a bit of olive, but not that much. Okay, so I'm going to finish off and I'll be right back. And I will do some contouring and some blush so that we're ready to go. Okay, I'm back. Now, last year, I haven't done my contour yet, but I'm just getting sidetracked a little bit. So last year at Christmas, not this Christmas, but last year, I bought something from some Christmas money because there was a half price sale. And I was really panicking because I bought it from the States and wasn't sure whether or not I was going to get charged a fortune, because it was just after that incident where I had been charged a fortune. Anyway, thankfully I wasn't charged anything. But I bought this brush kit, and because of the way that I have to store things in my flat, I basically haven't used it that much in the last year because of where it had been stored and having to get it out. It was just too difficult. But anyway, I've managed to rearrange things so that I've got it to hand now. So I'm going to use some of these brushes today. And these brushes are called Luxie brushes. And this was their kind of complete set. And I like the fact that they're all in this case. And it keeps it just really, really nice. So I'm going to use these to put my eye makeup on today. And my face makeup. All right. Okay, let's get going with this look. Now, I'm going today to put just the pictures in between and not keep showing you. All right, so you'll see what I'm about to use before I use it. Okay, there's no point me showing you and then doing that. I think it just adds to it. So first up, sorry about that, I'm going to go in with the transition shade, and this is called the Luxie 205 tapered blending brush. And I'm just going to, as you know, fill in so that we have a nice transition shade going on in here. And I love this brush. It's making it so easy to get in there. Blends like a dream. Okay, and then on to the next shade. Okay, as I'm going to put the emerald on my lids, and I want to make... Sorry about that, guys. There's drilling next door right in my head. Okay, I'm I'm going to keep going. I might have drilling through the walls, so apologies. I'm going to put a little bit of Huda Overachiever Concealer onto the lid so that it's nice and sticky before I apply the that emerald shade. So it's the same sort of thing as putting on the MAC Soft Ochre, really. I had a bit on there, but I want to make sure that this is going to stick and it's not going to kind of fly off. All right, and then I'm just going to dab on that emerald shade with my finger. Oh, I love it. Okay, now I'm going to build up the intensity in the corner there by going back in with the same colour but in a smaller brush, so it's packing it on, and then right in the corner I'm going to go in with the darker shade in the palette, which is black, but it's not going to look too black by the time I've finished with it. Okay, so with a small tapered blending brush, back in with that brown, and I want to get right into the socket this time to really build up the intensity. There are only 2 matte shadows in this palette, which is the only downside. So you're building up colours more by your brushes than with your eyeshadows. But as you can see, where the brown hits the green, it kind of makes it more intense anyway. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with a smaller smudge brush and pack it right in at the sides in the black. Okay, I'm now going in with a short shader brush, 223, and with that black, packing it in at the side here, in that triangle, like so. And then with the blending brush, I'm going back in to just blend it out. Now you can see that comes below the line that I want to do, so I'll clean that up in a while. That's what I want it to end up as, not that, which is going to make my eyes look even more downset. Right, other eye. Okay, now there is a kind of pink shimmer here, but it's sort of not too shimmery. So I'm going to risk this by taking a thick blending brush and putting it along the top a little bit to kind of bring a little bit of pinkness into it before I blend it out. I'm taking the 229 tapered blending brush, and with this pink, just a little bit, because I really don't want to catch too much shimmer. I just want to warm it up as I move to the top a little bit. So just a tiny little hint of something a bit warmer. Okay, now with my finger, I'm going to take the goldy pink shade, and I'm just going to press some of that on the centre, like so, because it's going to look purple over this green. It's going to give a beautiful, unexpected highlight in the middle of the lids. All together now. Look at that. And then I'm just going to pack some more green around the sides, just to make sure that that highlight doesn't eat it all up. I still want it to look green, but with that highlight in the middle. Okay, and then finally at the top, I'm just going to highlight under the brow with this highlighter shade, which you're about to see here. Okay, I nearly abandoned this video because I've just done quite a bit, and I can't recall how much, or work out. I can recall it, but I can't work out how much you've missed. But I was getting notifications coming up, and also there was drilling next to me, so I didn't press record. So basically, I'm going to put in between on a voiceover what I did, but I use this short shader brush also to put black under my eyes and brown, and I put some highlight. And apologies, I'll come in and I'll do a bit later on. Anyway, let's get on with the look. Okay, so the flat shader brush that you saw me put in the highlighter, or about to put the highlighter on with, I then used to stamp the extreme black on my top lid and also under my eyelid. Just using that one, and it kind of blends it in as well. So I stamped it on the top and I kind of smudged it in the bottom line with extreme black as a liner. And then I took this shade, Rose Dusk, to smudge that line out. Rather than the brown, I used the Rose Dusk so that it didn't look too dark under my eyes. Didn't want it to look too smoky underneath, because that can sometimes just make you look tired. But the pink kind of just lifted it a bit more. So again, using the same brush, I just went slightly under the black line and used the pink to smudge it out. Okay? And now, back to the proper film. Okay, you're about to see me using the palette to do my face and lips. But I just wanted to share a little tip with you. You'll notice that I'm using the Real Techniques setting brush, which is one of my favourite brushes. But I really would recommend something similar for using this palette on your face, because it's a small brush, so it's going to get into the shadows without, like blush brush, you might actually pick up some of the other shadows that you don't want to put on your face. Also, it's very, very good for blending. So these are meant to be eyeshadows, but you need to blend them, and they do blend really easily, but the setting brush is really good for blending. Okay, enjoy. Okay, like I did yesterday, I haven't done my brows yet, but I'm going to do my face. I'm going to use this brown as a bit of a contour. Now, this is a lot darker, and it may take a bit of blending in. I probably went in a bit heavy-handed there, but it's fine, because these shadows are really good at blending in. So provided you keep going, it's going to blend away. Can you see that? Just circle, circle, circle. And then when we have our blush on, it will be fine. But I will go less heavy-handed the other side. Just need a little bit of patience and it blends out beautifully. Now I can do a little bit of that down my nose. If you're very fair, you may not want to use this brown as a sculpt shade because it might be too dark for you. But I can just about get away with it with medium skin. Just hide a bit of my double chin. And I'm going to use Pillow Talk blush. I'm loving this one at the moment. I'm just going to mix the two together. I'll put that on. I think it goes really nicely with green. This kind of pinky. You can either use a sort of pinky or peach one. And then I think what will tie in very well with the Pillow Talk blush is the highlighter on this palette, so which is a kind of pink shade. So I'll just put that on the top, and you can see. So you're aiming for using the shimmers as a highlighter, as in the highlighter shimmers, but not the real bling. You can see when you look at them the difference between the really blingy shimmer shades and the kind of highlighter ones. You could also use, actually you could use this as a blush, this shade, which I'll put there. You see, you can put some of that on. Looks quite similar actually to Pillow Talk. It's got a bit of shimmer in it, but it's not glittery shimmer. So you can kind of get away with that. Okay, and last but not least, I'm going to put some lipstick on. And I'm just going to pick which one, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to use Supersize Me. Now, I found my collagen lip bath today. So over the top, I'm going to put that pink that I'll post here. And that can go over the top. No, that's not working. Okay, that doesn't do anything. So it really does need to be a glitzy one to actually work. So I will put on I'll put a little bit of this one. I am going out, so I don't want it to be too glitzy. Oh, look at that, how it, now that was the one that I put on the middle of my lids. So I'm just putting that in the centre, and then over the top, I'm going to put the collagen lip bath. Okay, here you go. So yeah, if you're using one over your lips, you really need to use one of the sparkly ones, but not on your face, but on your lips. They work really well. I like that because it doesn't look too kind of disco diva, but it just gives it a lovely shimmer. So that is today's look. I'm going to finish off my brows and do a picture at the end. I'm contending with so many drills and everything else, so I'll do a picture at the end and you can see the finished look, and I'll see you very soon, and we'll do another look with this palette on my live, which will be next Wednesday at 1 p.m. All right, take care. I had to get away from the drilling, and I went out to meet Jack and forgot to take some pictures, so you're going to see some screenshots. Have a great day.